Welcome back, warriors, to my channel, guys. Today I have another Diablo 3 video for you, and we're doing a Demon Hunter class build for version 2.6.9. It's the Multishot. Let's get into it. All right, guys, welcome back. So today I'm bringing you a Demon Hunter build that I have found the second most funnest, that's how we say it. No, besides the Necromancer, this is the funnest build, and the build that I use to push the higher graded rifts in Diablo 3. It is the Unhallowed Essence Multishot Demon Hunter build. So in this video, we're going to break down all the gear that you need, all the abilities, the passives, the skills, and how to play this class at the end of the video. Let's do it. Alright, so starting off, you're going to need the Unhallowed Set piece for this build. And again, we're going to be using the Ring of Royal Grandeur along with the Captain Crimson set. So you're only going to need 5 pieces. But let's go over the set. As a 2-piece, your generators generate 2 additional hatred and 1 discipline. The 4-piece set is gains 60% damage reduction and deals 60% damage for 8 seconds if no enemy is within 10 yards of you. Again, guys, this is a multi-shot build. We're going to be wanting to stay as far away from the enemy as possible. Going into the 6th set, your generators, multi-shot, and vengeance deal 350% increased damage for every point of discipline you have. Again, we do not want to lose any discipline at all. Your discipline should always be full or just a few ticks below full. We never want to be out of discipline ever. Okay, now let's go ahead and break down our set. So we are going to have 5 pieces of the Unhallowed Essence set, and we neglected to get rid of the boots, and we're going to do the 2-piece Captain Crimson set with the belt and the boots. The reason for this is because we're using Vengeance in this build, so we want to be able to constantly be in Vengeance as much as possible to get the added damage reduction, as well as the, just the constant increase in damage when we're pushing out. So we're going to do the 2-piece set with the Captain Crimsons to reduce the cooldown of all skills by 20% and reduce resource costs by 20%, because multi-shot can get taxing if you have to stand there and spam it on a bunch of enemies. Okay. Alright, so we got some gear to help complement this build very, very nicely. So we're going to use the Squirt's Necklace, guys. The Squirt's Necklace is while you're not taking damage. Damage dealt is going to increase up to 100%, and damage taken is increased up to 50%. Now, we're not worried about the damage taken because we're going to be far away from the targets. We want to push out as much damage, kind of like we hit them before they can hit us. So Squirt's Necklace is an ideal fit here. Onto our bracers, guys. I use the Wars and Chain arm guards, so every time I destroy a wreckable object, you gain a short burst of speed. This is really great on top of our skill for shadow power to help increase our movement speed to get around the map and finish these out really, really fast, these greater rifts. Onto our rings, guys. I like the restraint and focus to help push out as much damage as possible. With this 2-piece set, when you hit with a resource generating attack or primary skill, deal 50% increased damage for 5 seconds, and then when you hit with a resource spending attack, our multi-shot, you deal 50% increased damage for 5 seconds. So we don't have a resource generator in this build, but we're going to be using multi-shot, and we should never run out of our resource to be able to cast it, or at least you shouldn't. So the restraint and focus just helps us push out even more damage. Okay, onto our offhand, the Dead Man's Legacy, almost a guaranteed piece that you need for this build. Multi-shot enemies below 60% health get hit twice, and its damage is increased by 200%. So once you start firing off all these arrows, for somebody who hits below 60%, they're going to be hit 2 more times and have increased damage to those hits to help you finish out these targets. Now, the main piece, you have to have this Yang's recurve bow. Multi-shot attacks 50% faster, and its damage is increased by 200%. This is a must-have. This build is all about multi-shot. We're not going to be attacking with pretty much anything else. Now, what you're going to want for these builds, guys, is we're going to start with the helm. You're going to want dexterity, crit chance, and increased damage for multi-shot. Shoulders, you're going to want dex, resist all, resist cooldown, or reduce cooldown and reduce cost. Gloves, you're going to want dexterity, crit chance, and damage, and reduce cooldown if you can get it. The bow that you're going to want is damage, dexterity, fire damage, because we have a fire-based build, and then reduce resource cost. And then boots, you're going to want dexterity, vitality, resist all, and increased damage. The offhand, you're going to want dexterity, attack speed, crit chance, cooldown, and increased damage. Pants, you're going to want dexterity, vitality, resist all. The belt, you're going to want dexterity, vitality, resist all, and life. Chest, you're going to want dexterity, resist all, and reduce damage. And then the amulet, you're going to want fire skills, crit chance, and damage. The bracers, you're going to want fire skills again, dexterity, and resist all, and crit chance. The rings, you're going to want damage, dexterity, crit chance, and then damage, dexterity, and crit chance. All right, guys, on to our skills. Now, these skills, I've done this build a little bit differently. I like to be a little bit more tanky and have a little bit more of a shield, so I'm not vulnerable to if I get swarmed by a bunch of enemies and I can't get out using Vault. So, to start off, you're going to want Shadow Power. You're going to draw on the power of the shadows and gain life per hit for 5 seconds, but we put Shadow Glide on here. Every time we hit it, we gain 30% increased movement speed while Shadow Power is activated. Besides Vault, this is the only other discipline cost skill that we use. But this really helps us get around the map and fly through GRs. If you want to speed build or speed clear a lot of greater rifts, this is a great way to do it. Now, on to what I like to use for a little bit more defense and be a little bit more tanky is Phantom Knives with Bladed Armor. Gain the 40% additional armor for 6 seconds. It is cold damage, but I'm not really concerned about that. If I end up getting into close quarters or I'm being swarmed or I get stuck, being able to pop this on and have more armor, 40 additional armor is a lot over 6 seconds to help you get away from something or help you reduce a lot of hits. Now, Vault, of course, with Tumble, guys, after using Vault, your next Vault within 6 seconds has its discipline cost by 50%. But this is a great way to evade and get out of places or just get around the map. All you're going to want to do is just Vault, shoot, Vault, shoot. You're just going to want to shoot a couple times and Vault to get away. This is a must-need ability for this build. Next, of course, we have Vengeance, guys. Vengeance with Sieve, you gain 10 hatred per second, which is great. We want to keep our hatred up as much as possible. Now, next is Preparation with Invigoration. Permanently increase maximum discipline by 20. Again, the reason we have this, guys, is because we get the added damage from having, our discipline to the max. So this helps us keep it there. So maximum discipline with Invigoration to keep that going. And then, of course, the star of the show, guys, is Multishot. Multishot with Arsenal. Every time you fire, you launch 3 rockets at nearby enemies, each dealing 300% weapon damage as fire. Again, that's why we have the fire skill, increase percent damage and regular damage on our bow. Alright, guys, into the passives. We have Awareness. When you receive fatal damage, you come back to life. That's always good. Ambush, you deal 40% additional damage to enemies above 75% health. This is great. This pairs really well with our Dead Man's Legacy because you deal additional damage to people above 75%. It knocks them down below 60, and then they take extra shots to finish them off. Ballistics, increased damage of rockets by 100% because of our multi-shot rune. This goes up. And then in addition, you have a 20% chance to fire a homing rocket, which deals even more damage. Next is Hot Pursuit. Increase movement speed by 20% for 4 seconds when you hit an enemy. You're going to be shooting so many arrows and hitting so many people. This stacked with Shadow Glide and Vault, we should be able to clear greater rifts in no time. It's a guaranteed speed build if you want to use it that way, but it's also great just to get around the map really, really fast. If you don't want to use Awareness, guys, you could change this for, like, Numbing Traps is good. You could change it for Thrill of the Hunt. They're slow to help build some more CC because inside of our amulets and our rings, we're going to have Zia's Stone of Vengeance, so the damage between you and a target is increased, and then you have a 20% chance to stun. You're going to use Molten Wildebeest Gizzard. I like this to regenerate life, and then after not taking damage for 4 seconds, you're going to have an Absorb Shield, which makes this build a little bit more tanky. And then you have Taeguk, which deals increased damage for a Resource Channeled skill, stacks up to 10 times, guys, which is our multi-shot. On to what's in the cube. Dawn, we are using Vengeance. We want to have this up as all times, like I said, guys. So reducing the cooldown of Vengeance by 65% is huge. Pride's Fall, reduce all resource costs by 30% after not taking damage for 5 seconds. This pairs really well with the build because, again, guys, we are going to keep our distance from the enemy, so we should never be taking damage. So this should always be in effect to reduce the cost of all your abilities so we can constantly spam multi-shot. And then, of course, like we mentioned earlier, guys, Ring of Royal Grandeur to have both these builds with the Caps and Crimsons and our Unhallowed Essence at the full piece. Now, let's get into how to play this build. As you guys can see in the gameplay, all you're going to want to do is cast Vengeance. Cast Vengeance, multi-shot. You see me vaulting around, you want to vault around or use Shadow Power Glide and just catch up to enemies, you know, group them up and just be casting multi-shot. This build is very simple and very straightforward to use, guys. It's one of the easier builds for the Demon Hunter to use as opposed to the God set. There's a lot of, or even the new Reign of Vengeance set that's out. You know, there's a lot of different things, but this set is pretty straightforward. Besides casting Vengeance, all you're doing is multi-shotting around the entire map. Use Vault to get around and escape. As you see in the gameplay, guys, I like to use Fan of Knives and keep that up all the time just to have some added shield, because that stacked with the Wild Beast Gizzard, guys, you're going to have 40% from the bladed armor and another 200% shield of your life total, so you have just an increased shield of just defense. It kind of like, I think of it of like using the Wizards. The Wizards are super tanky because of all the shields that they have, and I've kind of applied it to this build just to keep it as tanky as possible. With this build, you should almost be in Vengeance non-stop. I only think there's a few times that I'm actually out of Vengeance, and even when that happens, it's only another second or two, and then I'm back to Vengeance. So being in Vengeance, using multi-shot, just jumping around, vaulting around, or using our speed boost to help just run around if you don't feel like vaulting. You know, all this increases your speed to just speed through builds, and all you're doing is using multi-shot, guys. It's a pretty straightforward build, and it's a lot of fun. I encourage you guys to use it. If you guys did enjoy today's video, I really hope you did. This build is just absolutely amazing. It's a lot of fun. If you guys did enjoy it, make sure to drop a like, guys, as that always does help me out. If you guys are new here, be sure to subscribe and join the Warriors, guys, for more tip videos for Diablo 3. And for me, Warlug, as always, guys, stay gaming. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.